Imagine someone who appears shy, sensitive, and selfless, but beneath the surface lies a master manipulator, feeding on your empathy while draining your emotional energy. This isn't your typical narcissist. This is the covert narcissist, a psychological chameleon hiding in plain sight. What makes them so dangerous, if you ask me? And how can you spot one before it's too late? Buckle up, because today we are diving into the unsettling world of covert narcissism, where the quietest people often wield the most power and destruction. So, what's the unsettling psychology of covert narcissism? Narcissism, as we all know, is a term derived from the Greek myth of Narcissus, who fell in love with his own reflection, and it is often associated with grandiosity, arrogance, and overt self centeredness. However, not all narcissists fit this stereotype. Covert narcissism, also known as vulnerable narcissism, presents a more subtle and insidious form of narcissistic personality disorder (NPD). Unlike their overt counterparts, covert narcissists are characterized by hypersensitivity, introversion, and a pervasive sense of victimhood. This video delves into the unsettling psychology of covert narcissism, exploring its traits, underlying mechanisms, and the impact it has on relationships and mental health. So, what is covert narcissism? Understanding covert narcissism. Covert narcissism is a subtype of narcissistic personality disorder that is less obvious but equally damaging. Now, while overt narcissists are often recognizable due to their flamboyant self-confidence and need for admiration, covert narcissists are more introverted and self-effacing. They often appear shy, reserved, and self-depreciating. But beneath this facade lies a deep-seated need for validation and a fragile self-esteem, a fragile ego. So what are the key traits of covert narcissism? There is what we call hypersensitivity to criticism, where covert narcissists are extremely sensitive to any form of criticism or rejection. They may react with intense anger, withdrawal, or passive-aggressive behavior when they perceive slights. Also, another trait of covert narcissism is a chronic feeling of inadequacy. And so, despite their need for admiration, covert narcissists often feel inadequate and unworthy. They feel they don't deserve much in life. And so, they may harbor deep seated insecurities and a pervasive sense of inferiority. Thirdly, there is what we call passive aggressiveness, and it's a key trait of covert narcissism. And so instead of confronting issues directly, covert narcissists may resort to passive aggressive tactics, such as giving the silent treatment, making backhanded compliments, or subtly undermining others. Another key trait of covert narcissism is what we call the victim mentality, and basically, covert narcissists see themselves as perpetual victims. They may blame others for their misfortunes and believe that they are unfairly treated or misunderstood. Also, there is a need for validation as a key trait of covert narcissists. And so, like all narcissists, covert narcissists crave admiration and validation. However, they seek it in more subtle ways, such as fishing for compliments or playing the victim to elicit sympathy. There is also envy and resentment as a key trait of covert narcissism. Covert narcissists often feel envious of others and resentful of their success. They may downplay the achievements of other people or secretly wish for their failure. There's also emotional manipulation as a key trait of covert narcissism. Covert narcissists are skilled at manipulating other people to meet their needs. They may use guilt, pity, or emotional blackmail to control those around them. So, what is the psychology behind covert narcissism? The psychology of covert narcissism is complex and rooted in early developmental experiences. Most of these things happen when we are kids, and there are several theories that attempt to explain the origins and maintenance of this personality trait. And so, early childhood experiences is one of the reasons why some people are covert narcissists. And so, from childhood, experiences of neglect, emotional abuse, or inconsistent parenting, an adult who is a covert narcissist has grown up. Now, children who grow up in environments where their emotional needs are not met may develop a fragile self-esteem and a deep-seated need for validation. Also, defense mechanisms. Covert narcissists employ various defense mechanisms to protect their fragile self-esteem. And we are still talking about the psychology behind covert narcissism. And the first is early childhood experiences, and the second is a defense mechanism. And so covert narcissists can use defense mechanisms to protect their fragile self-esteem, and this includes repression, denial, and projection. For instance, they may deny their own flaws and project them onto other people, onto you, if you are a victim, if you're a survivor of narcissistic abuse, or they may repress their anger and express it passively. Also, attachment styles is part of the psychology behind covert narcissism. Research suggests that covert narcissism is associated with insecure attachment styles, particularly anxious, preoccupied attachment. Now, individuals with this attachment style are overly concerned with their relationships and fear abandonment, leading to clingy and dependent behavior. There is also cognitive distortions. And so, under cognitive distortions, as part of the psychology behind covert narcissism, covert narcissists often exhibit cognitive distortions such as black and white thinking, overgeneralization, and personalization. These distortions reinforce their negative self-view and perpetuate their need for validation. So what is the impact of covert narcissism on relationships? Covert narcissism can have a profound impact on relationships, often leading to dysfunction and emotional distress. Some common patterns include emotional drain. Now, partners of covert narcissists often feel emotionally drained due to the constant need for reassurance and validation. When you live with someone who never feels validated, it can be a burden, it can be draining emotionally. And the covert narcissist hypersensitivity and passive aggressiveness can create a toxic emotional environment. There is also manipulation and control as an impact on relationships. Now, covert narcissists may use emotional manipulation to control their partners. This includes guilt tripping, gaslighting, and playing the victim to elicit sympathy and compliance. There is also lack of reciprocity. Now, relationships with covert narcissists are one-sided. Take it or leave it. The covert narcissist may demand attention and support but fail to reciprocate, leading to feelings of resentment and frustration in their partners. There is also isolation as an impact on relationship. Now, covert narcissists may isolate their partners from friends and family, either through direct manipulation or by creating an environment where the partner feels compelled to prioritize the needs of the narcissist over their own. And so what is the impact on mental health? The impact of covert narcissism on mental health. Covert narcissism is not only challenging for those in relationships with covert narcissists, but also for the narcissists themselves. And so because the constant need for validation coupled with chronic feelings of inadequacy can lead to a range of mental health issues like depression. Now, covert narcissists are at a higher risk of developing depression due to their pervasive sense of inadequacy and chronic feelings of emptiness. They always feel like a shell. They always feel empty, and so they are at a risk of developing depression. Also, there is anxiety, the hypersensitivity, and the fear of rejection associated with covert narcissism can lead to chronic anxiety and social phobia. Also, low self-esteem. The covert narcissist can have low self-esteem. Despite their need for admiration, covert narcissists often have low self-esteem and a negative self-image, which can contribute to a cycle of self-sabotage and self-doubt. There's also substance abuse. Some covert narcissists may turn to substance abuse as a way to cope with their emotional pain and feelings of inadequacy. And so what are the treatment and management? Treating covert narcissists can be challenging, as individuals with this personality trait often lack insight into their behavior and may be resistant to change. They don't want to be fixed. They don't want to change. However, with the right approach, it's possible to manage and mitigate the negative effects of covert narcissism. And so how can you help them? Psychotherapy, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and psychodynamic therapy can be effective in healing covert narcissists. and helping them gain insight into their behavior and develop healthier coping mechanisms. But if you ask me, the best therapy is the Holy Spirit. With the Holy Spirit, a covert narcissist can see themselves for who they really are. And so don't joke with therapy with the Holy Spirit. And there's also self-compassion as a way of treating and managing covert narcissism. Encouraging self-compassion and self-acceptance can help covert narcissists build a more stable and positive self-image, reducing their need for external validation. Also, mindfulness and emotional regulation. Mindfulness practices and emotional regulation techniques can help covert narcissists manage their hypersensitivity and reduce their tendency to react impulsively or passive aggressively. Also, in treating covert narcissists, support of partners is essential. So partners of covert narcissists may benefit from therapy and support groups to help them navigate the challenges of the relationship and establish healthy boundaries. Now, in conclusion, covert narcissism is a complex and often misunderstood form of narcissistic personality disorder. While it might not be overtly destructive as other forms of narcissism, it is subtle, and the insidious nature can equally be damaging to relationships and mental health. Understanding the psychology behind covert narcissism is crucial for recognizing its traits and addressing its impact. With the right support and intervention, individuals with covert narcissism and those affected by it can work towards healthier and more fulfilling relationships. So what struck you the most in this video? Do let me know in the comments, and also hit the subscribe button so you can become a member of the Oyawale community, where we help one another to heal from narcissistic abuse and release emotional trauma. Don't also forget to share this video with a friend.